it do, everybody? So today you're back with your girl Faith. In today's video I have for you guys my long-awaited labor and delivery like story slash vlog. I'm not even gonna lie, well, the story will speak for itself, like my experience and stuff like that, but I only have I think less than like 10 minutes of like footage, and it was like literally like the beginning slash like middle of everything that was going on, because I didn't know I was going into labor. Well, I did kind of, but I also didn't at the same time. So I did not end up vlogging like the full thing, like everything, the birth and stuff like that. And again, you guys will see why. So, and I didn't really have any like motivation to do so. So we did not do a full labor and delivery vlog, but what I am gonna give you guys is the clips. So I'm gonna roll those after this clip, and then if you want to see it and like watch through it, then you can. Otherwise you can skip to like afterwards when I'm back to talking about like the story and explaining everything. Maybe next time, yeah, maybe next time. I really do want to have like a full labor and delivery vlog. I'll show everything, but it just did not go that way. So, and that's okay. Anyways, I'm here, I'm healthy, my baby's here and he's healthy. He's over there sleeping, so I don't want to like hold him or anything during the video for you guys. I'll insert a picture for you guys of him if you want to. Otherwise you can follow me on Instagram, follow my TikTok, all of that's always linked down below, and you guys will see him on there because I post him pretty often. So yeah, hello everybody. So I think we all know why we're here today. Today is the start of my labor and delivery vlog. It is August 27th. I think it's like 8 something, I want to say. I'm not sure the exact time right now. But it is late, so that's why it's a little dark or whatever. But yeah, I've been here at the hospital for a couple hours now. Pretty much all day. I've been here since about 1 something. I'm trying to see. A lot of monitor. So I've been here since about 1:30, I think. And yeah, so basically I was having really bad contractions and I could not sleep last night. Like that's how I knew something was wrong, because I genuinely, like, usually it'll be where I can go to sleep but I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning every night. Then I have to run to the bathroom and then I'll be up for a little while, but I'm always able to go to sleep. There's just something really different about last night that, like, I just genuinely couldn't sleep. I was up the whole night and having contractions and stuff, and literally they were so bad to the point where I was like just like bracing them, and they hurt really bad. I'd ended up falling asleep and I got like 3 hours of sleep. I woke up and I was still having the contractions. I'd ended up actually losing my mucus plug, and really that doesn't really mean much when you do. I guess it can grow back and stuff if you're not in active labor, but it still was something to note because I wasn't dilated before I lost it. So I think that you actually have to be dilated at least a little bit in order for you to lose any of your mucus plug. So I got kind of excited. I'm like, I know for a fact I'm dilated. There's no way that these contractions are this painful and coming as often as they are, and I'm not dilated. So then I sat and I thought about it, and I'm like, I haven't really felt the baby move a whole lot. So I ended up calling them. They told me to come in, and they were timing my contractions. They were timing my contractions and they were pretty consistent, more consistent, but I knew something was just different because of just how the contractions were feeling. Like literally in my lower back, it felt like a rubber band was being pulled around from the front to the back and just was like squeezing. So I'm like, these are different from my Braxton Hicks contractions. So I ended up being here for about 2 hours, I think. And in the midst of that, it was like 1 hour on the monitors. And then she let me she gave me like a portable thing, and she wanted me to walk around and see if I would dilate. So I walked around for another hour, came back, and then I was sitting for a little bit, and she had came in, checked on me, and told me that she was gonna give it a couple minutes to watch the baby a little bit more, and then she would come back to check me again to see if I dilated at all after I was like active. And as soon as she left the room, I felt like a little gush. And I'm like, I know I didn't pee myself. My water did break, or that there was amniotic fluid present. So my water bag hadn't fully like broke or anything. It just was leaking. So as soon as they figured that out, I'm strep B positive, so I have to get antibiotics. So either way, if my water would have broke at home, I still would have had to come in right away because the baby's at risk of infection if you wait. Literally, it just feels like you're constantly like full-blown peeing on yourself. Like not trickle, haha, I just giggled and some pee flew out. No, like literally it feels like you're sitting on the toilet just constantly like full force peeing. I was gonna get up and get on like the little ball for a little while, but as soon as I stood up, literally so much splashed all over the floor, all over my legs. It was all over the bed. Anyway, because they just have me like sitting on a towel in one of those like little pad things. But yeah, it literally got everywhere. So I can't even stand up without it like gushing out. And I even tried to put on like the little pad things that they give you, but it was not working. This is a pretty long process, and I know it's going to be. So I want to kind of get as much rest as I can, especially because I didn't sleep last night. So yeah. But and nobody tells you that the antibiotics burn so bad, like through your IV. Like my whole arm felt like it was on fire. So she had to dilute it or whatever it was, something. I'm guessing saline or whatever. It's also in like the little drip thing. But yeah, that bug burned so bad. Oh my god. So I've just been sitting here. I filled out the paperwork and stuff. Most of it that they give you, and I've been chilling out ever since. I haven't eaten all day. Messing up my vlog, man. They couldn't see, you know what?
You trying to say I'm black like midnight?
I mean, you really couldn't see you. I'll play the clip back.
Okay. Clip brownie.
Anyways, as I was saying,
Slice your apple pie.
I didn't eat all day, so it's pretty disappointing that they told me I could eat. They say clear liquids, popsicles, stuff like that. But I might actually be able to have soup. Not till tomorrow, though. Because it goes at 6. Like clear. Not broccoli and cheddar.
Cream with tomato or garden vegetable. Chicken noodle, cream with tomato, or garden vegetable. All these the options.
Well, I just would have ate the broth because I don't like chicken noodle soup.
Cream with tomato.
No. The broth is good. So, yep. What do you have to say to the vlog about becoming a father? How are you feeling?
Well, you know, back when I was 6.
Can we be for real?
No, I'm really excited. Big deal. You know, I'm happy to have a kid with you. And
You ain't even say nothing. What you say?
man, I'm out of words. Get the camera. Come back later, man.
No.
Oh my goodness, Lord have mercy.
Really? You don't have nothing special to say to me?
Baby mama, I'm not ready for the speeches right now.
When you gonna give it to me?
I have to see. When the sun come out, man.
We're done. I'll talk to y'all later. Mind y'all, this is my first time doing my makeup since I've had him. He was born August 28th. I haven't done my makeup since. I haven't really been worried about doing my makeup. I'm not leaving the house. the only thing I've left the house for is his doctor's appointments, and then my little 1 week, I think, appointment that I had, or not even a week, it wasn't, I don't think, but yeah, I had a doctor's appointment to check my stitches and stuff like that. So yeah, and then his appointment, that's the only place I went. I haven't put on makeup. I don't really care to put on makeup right now. My hair is not done. It's hella nappy, like, yeah, so I'm not even concerned about my hair at this point. I mean my makeup at this point, because when I put on makeup, I like my hair to be done and me to just be together. I don't have nails. My toes are crusty, feet crusty. I'm still in pain, healing. Like, I'm not in a rush to like go full glam and stuff, because nobody's really gonna see it, and I don't really have motivation to be posting on Instagram and stuff like that as far as like full pictures, dressing up. Like, you know, when I get back on Instagram, I want to get back on Instagram, and I want to post often and like really get my account up there how I want it to be. I'm posting family pictures and, you know, stuff like that. So I'm really taking this time to just like chill out and just enjoy what's in front of me right now. Yeah, just taking care of myself, taking care of my baby. I haven't really felt the need to jump on camera or jump into things and like force it. Like, I'm not forcing it. I'm taking this day by day. I just so happen to feel like filming today, so he fell asleep after I got done feeding him, and I'm here. I went and did my makeup, and I actually feel pretty good. I feel beautiful. I feel pretty. So I'm happy about that. But okay, so let's start with the week of my birth. So the week that I was going into labor or whatever, I kind of had like a feeling that I was going to go into labor, and only because like the TikToks I was watching, and I just was doing a lot of like research and stuff like that, and my sleep schedule was completely off. I was waking up at I think 2 in the morning. It was either 2 or 4, one of the two, every single night. I just could not sleep. I had insomnia so bad, and I actually take like pills, and they usually knock me out. That wasn't even working, so my body kept waking up in intervals, and I'm like, So then I seen something, it was like, oh, that's your body training you for when the baby gets here, because the baby's about to come, so your body's training you for having to wake up every 3 hours or 2 hours. And I full-fledged like believe that, because that's exactly what was happening to me. Yeah, that's exactly what was happening, and it was pretty crazy. I was really frustrated because I really wanted to, you know, get my sleep and stuff like that. I kind of accepted it at some point. So, and also I was taking baths. I actually gave up on like doing the yoga ball and stuff like that, because I was kind of frustrated because like he wasn't coming, and I had an appointment that week, and he's like, yeah, we're just gonna have to schedule an induction. So we ended up scheduling the induction for the week after, and I was gonna give birth on Tuesday. Like, I was gonna get induced on Tuesday, so that was already set. And I'm like, I had a feeling after we set the induction date, when I got home that night, I was like, he probably gonna be like, yeah, nah, like, now that you got a date and now that you're at peace or whatever, I got you, I'm gonna come. As soon as I got a peace of mind and that there was like an end goal, and I knew like, okay, I'm gonna be able to just like calmly get to the hospital, I'm gonna get induced on Tuesday, I have a date, time, I'm cool. I just knew that he was gonna come. But yeah, so I had the induction date set, and I just, yeah, like I said, I gave up on the yoga ball. I was so defeated because I was in so much freaking pain, and I literally was just like, okay, now that I have induction date set, I don't even care anymore. Like, I want this baby out of me. I want to see my son. But I had no motivation to get on like the ball. Like, he was my motivation. I walked, but I just stopped using the ball at that point. I just was like, I'm just gonna do like one thing, pick that and do that. Like, I'm not gonna be doing 60 million things a day, like drinking that tea 6 times a day. Not really 6 times a day, but I'm being dramatic. But drinking the tea and the ball and walking and running and jumping up and down and doing flips, like all this stuff to try and induce the baby, like, it just, take it from me, it's just, it's a lot. So it wasn't until the week that I was due till where I really accepted the fact that this baby was gonna come when he wants to come. Because he had dropped and stuff already, and I was having the Braxton Hicks, but it just, nothing was working to like induce him like at home. So I just accepted it, and I was like, okay, cool. So on the 26th, the day before my due date, I had actually lost my mucus plug, but then I looked it up and it's like everybody's, oh, that doesn't mean anything, you know. It just means that you're probably dilating, and that's about it. It doesn't mean you're going into labor, because it can grow back and all this other stuff. So I just kind of like was cool about that. And that night I went to sleep. I woke up at like 3 in the morning, and I've been up that whole time. Like I just couldn't go back to sleep, and I kept having, you know, Braxton Hicks contractions, and he was moving less. So I read something else that was saying like, okay, the baby's moving, you know, slightly less. Obviously he's running out of room, so it's okay. But if like you don't feel anything at all, then call and go in and all this other stuff. So I felt like a kick, and that was pretty much it. And that was kind of unusual for him, but also it kind of kept me peace of mind, because I have one of those Doppler things. So I was listening to his heartbeat, and I knew he had a heartbeat. I knew he was alive. So I'm just like, okay. So then that morning I went to this clothing store for my mom, and I went to go get, I think, Starbucks. All of a sudden I was walking around the store, and I just got this really bad pain. I just knew it was not a Braxton Hicks contraction. Like, and I spent some time walking around that store, and I just knew it was not a Braxton Hicks contraction. This was like the dull version of the pain, okay? This was the dull version. So yeah, it was like a dull version of the pain, but it still hurt. It was different from the Braxton Hicks. So I'm like, And then I check out or whatever, I get in the car and I get it again. Mind you, at that time, like 7 minutes had passed. So I get in the car and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start timing these, because once again, I just had a feeling, mama instinct, and just a gut feeling in general, like, something doesn't seem right about this. This isn't usual. So then I start timing, and yeah, they're like 7 minutes apart. But then I'm kind of like not believing it also. I'm just like, nah, this is too good to be true. Today, this is my due date. I did not get my head geeked up about today or that day or nothing. Like, oh, I'm due today, the baby's gonna come. Like, no, that 9 times out of 10, that's not how it works. So I'm just like, nah, maybe I'm just, you know, tripping. Like, I'm cool. Like, my Braxton Hicks be all over the place, so it'd be 7 minutes and then 15 and all this other stuff. So I'm like, But it was consistently 7 minutes. Consistently, keyword, consistently. I was driving home, they kept coming every 7 minutes, and I was trying to like, you know, time them. At some point I just stopped, because obviously I was driving, so I didn't want to be on my phone and driving, but I was still keeping track in my head, like, these are coming in waves. And usually my Braxton Hicks be like 2 of them, and then I just stop feeling them, or it'd be 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon and 2 at night, and they'd be so like all over the place. That's just how they are. So I got home and it started to hurt. So I got in the house and I was trying to like talk to my sister or whatever, and I just started crying. I'm like, these hurt. And she's like, are you timing them? And I'm like, yeah, like it was like 7 minutes apart, and I'm like, but I stopped timing them or whatever, so I had to restart or whatever. So I called the hospital. My mom didn't really believe me. She's like, yeah, well, you're gonna get sent back home. And you know, part of me thought the same thing, because it wasn't the 511 or whatever that they tell you. So I'm like, part of me was like, yeah, they're gonna be like, oh, 7 minutes, go home. Labor at home. So part of me thought that, but then also part of me thought like, nah, this is gonna be the day. So I actually I called them and talked to them about the pain and stuff like that, and she was like, okay, just go ahead, come in. So my dad came and got me and took me into the hospital or whatever. And mind you, I hadn't even brought like the baby bag, I hadn't brought my labor and delivery bags. I just was in so much pain, I wasn't even like thinking, honestly. So and also part of me also was stuck on like the being sent home, so I was like, nah, it's not even worth it, I'm not even gonna bring the bags. But tip for you, please just bring the bags if you're going to the hospital anytime. Anytime, just be prepared, just put them in the car just in case. It doesn't hurt to just have, you know, your stuff on you. Back to the hospital or whatever, she checked me, and I was 1 centimeter dilated, and I knew I was dilated because I lost my mucus plug, and I'm like, there's no way that I'm losing my mucus plug and that's slipping through and I didn't dilate at least like a fingertip. So I was 1 centimeter dilated finally, and I was so overjoyed about that alone. I was like, yeah, 1 centimeter is low, but it's something. Like we're getting somewhere. So I was like, okay, cool. Even if I leave here today, I know that I'm 1 centimeter dilated and my body did something. They made me walk around. I walked around for like 2 hours around the hospital, just pacing and stuff. So yeah, literally I think that's also what did it. So I walked around the hospital for like 2 hours, and then they checked me again, and I was like 1.5 then after that. And they were like, okay, so you're probably in the stages of like early labor, so we want you to go home and labor. Exactly what they always are going to tell you when they're sending you home, like, okay, we think that's what's best, you know, there's a shower at your house, there's your bed, you know, you're more comfortable, you don't want to labor here all day. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm upset, but I'm also not upset because I'm progressing. So that's what matters right now, is that I'm not still closed, because I think I would have like cried so hard if they said that I was still closed and I was experiencing contractions like that. So mind you, the whole time I'm there, I'm still experiencing the contractions. They're still 7 minutes apart. So, and then, well, actually they went down to like 6 after I like was walking and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah. My contraction, I got to 6 minutes or whatever, and they were still monitoring the baby. His heart rate was still good, my heart rate was still good, my blood pressure, all that, all the vitals were great. Him not kicking and stuff, you know, I was at peace with that, as far as like knowing that nothing was wrong when I wasn't feeling him, because I swear as soon as you get to the hospital they start kicking unless something's seriously wrong. I don't know what it is, but as soon as those monitors go on, they want to show out with him. I've went to the hospital probably twice about not feeling him, and every time I've gotten there, monitors go on and he show out. He's literally about to send me home, y'all. She goes out the room, she's like, okay, I'm gonna go get your paperwork. And then, she was like, I'm gonna monitor you for like, I think 30 more minutes or something like that, and then she was like, but I'm gonna get your paperwork started, but we're gonna leave you on the monitor. Why? As soon as she stepped foot out that room, you guys, I swear, like 5 minutes passed, bro. I felt a gush, like just a small gush, but it was enough for me to be like, what the heck? And mind y'all, I had used the bathroom like 10 minutes before that, so I knew I didn't pee on myself because I had just peed and got back into bed, and then we had that conversation or whatever, and then it was just like a gush, and it was warm, and I just was like, what the heck? So then I was thinking to myself, like, nah, because I also like prayed and stuff. I was like, God, please, I just want to have this baby like today, or have something happen today. Like, I really just want him to come. I want to meet my baby. And I just said such a big prayer. Then next thing you know, my water broke. So my bag just was like leaking. So then I pressed the nurse call button or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I think my water broke. So she comes in the room and she's kind of like, like you could tell she didn't really believe that my water broke. She's like, I just checked you and stuff, and you know, I didn't feel anything. But so then she does like this little test, and that was inconclusive. So then she did like the pH strip test that they send down to the lab, and she's like, yeah, if it comes back that there's amniotic fluid, then that means that your water did break and we're keeping you. So I prayed again when she left the room that my water actually broke, because I really wanted to give birth. I really wanted to have my baby. So I prayed again, and she comes back in the room and she was like, yeah, you're in labor. Your water bag definitely broke. There's amniotic fluid present. So then she starts going to go get all the paperwork for me to be admitted to the hospital and stuff like that. And that's my sister's baby. I'm crying right now, so I'm sorry if that's, you know, distracting you guys. Yeah, so literally my water bag had broke or whatever, and she went and she got the paperwork for me to be admitted to the hospital. So I told my dad, I'm like, okay, you got to go back to the house, get my bags and stuff. And I called my boyfriend and I was like, yeah, we have a baby. Or did I call him? No, I texted him because he was somewhere. He was doing something. I think he was at church. Yeah, he was at church because it was a Sunday. So I told him, I'm like, yeah, we have the baby. So luckily it was at the end of church by the time that I was going into labor and stuff like that, and everything had started. So I was like, yeah, we have the baby, so you might want to get here. And then y'all, so my doctor was on call, so he comes in, and I I had like stopped leaking after that one gush, so that just meant that there was just like a little rip in my bag. It wasn't fully broken. So he took the hook thing and broke my water like manually, and that, bro, I don't know if it's just like, that stuff hurts. They stick a hook up you and literally manually break your bag. You can feel the hook, obviously, like you can feel their hands going all the way up there. And the thing is, he had to feel to find my bag because my cervix is high, so he literally had to feel to find my bag first. And it literally felt like his whole hand was in my hoo-ha, like, whoa, whoa. So he took the hook and put it in there, and at first he couldn't break it because he couldn't find it. So then he took it out, stuck his hand back up, and was feeling around. That junk hurt. Then he's like, oh, pass me the hook again. I'm like, can we just slow down? Like, everything's moving too fast. I don't have nobody here with me. Like, it's just, everything is moving a bit too fast for me in here right now. It literally feels like a water balloon pop in your stomach. Like, it's crazy. Or not even in your stomach, in like your lower whatever. So it literally feels like a poof. And I started leaking and blood came out, and so did the fluid, and I was leaking for literally like hours. It felt like I swear. So started hooking me up to an IV and all that stuff. And mind y'all, like I told you guys, my plan for birth was vaginal. I wanted no epidural, nothing like that, because yeah. But I'm gonna tell you why that took a turn. So my boyfriend had got there, and they're like, oh, you can't eat or whatever. Of course I ate a little bit. I think we all a little naughty when it comes to labor, and I feel like I hadn't eaten anything that whole day besides I had a drink from Starbucks. Like, I wasn't expecting to go into labor. I wasn't expecting like to literally go into labor on my way home. Maybe, I want to say 2-3 hours had passed. They checked me again. I dilated to a 2, I think, and then I stayed at a 2 for literally hours. Mind y'all, it's only like 2 something, maybe 3. Yeah, it's like 3 something. They definitely had checked me before my boyfriend got there. My boyfriend didn't get there till like 5 or 6, I think. I want to say one of the two. And they definitely checked me before then. I was at a 2. I stayed at a 2 the rest of the day, and my contractions started getting closer and closer. They started getting to that 5. Finally they were at the 5, and I stayed there. I stayed at 5 minutes apart. I stayed at 2 centimeters for forever, and the contractions hurt so bad, y'all. Like, even breathing through them, no amount of TikToks, no amount of labor and delivery vlogs can prepare you for labor. I will tell you that now. Not even this video, me telling you my experience, is gonna prepare you for labor. Like, literally everybody is so different. It's insane, because you'll get some people who are just like, oh yeah, I was able to just breathe. Like, no, I was literally running up the bed, bro. Like, I literally was crawling up the bed about to die. Like, it hurt so bad. It hurt so bad, but I was so determined. I was determined still to make it through it and just accept the pain and do a vaginal birth. I had a positive mindset, so I think that's why I was pushing through. But I knew once I was taking forever to dilate that they were gonna end up inducing me. I knew it. So then hours had passed. They came in there late and were just like, okay, you're at I think a 3 or whatever, but it took all those hours for me to progress. So they were like, my doctor was just like, I'm gonna start you on Pitocin or whatever. And I was kind of iffy about it, because I knew, I seen on TikTok and stuff that Pitocin ruins everything, and I should have believed them, and I should have just been like, no, let me be in labor for another day or whatever, and then we can see. But no, I did not. I didn't do it. So I took the Pitocin or whatever. The Pitocin contractions, baby, let me tell you something. I could have waited out those other contractions. I could have dealt with that. But the Pitocin contractions, different. So different. Like, so different. So I ended up getting the contractions or whatever. and they were just so bad, y'all. And my body like reacted badly to it, and so did he. So his heart rate started dropping, and then my contractions were starting to come, like they were 5 minutes apart, but then they started to become like literally like 1 minute apart. But I wasn't like dilated enough to like have the baby. So my contractions were literally coming in like clusters. I would have like 3 in a row, and then I would get like a 5-minute break, and then I would have 3 in a row. And just imagine that. Like, I know only the women who've like experienced real labor contractions and stuff like that would know what the pain feels like. So I'm just asking you to just imagine that, and not a break in between. So my body was not having it, and I was in so much pain. And she literally came in the room and she was like, I'm seeing on the monitor that you're not getting a break, like, and this isn't good, like, not for me, because everybody's just like, oh, rest and rest and rest. And then that started happening. I'm like, how am I supposed to rest if I'm getting a contraction every minute, or one that just does not stop? So then his heart rate was dropping or whatever. So they were monitoring that, so then they started lessening the Pitocin, and I still wasn't dilating. So now we're leading into the next day. I've now been into labor for 24 hours. So fast forward to like the same time the next day of when I started going into labor, I've now been in labor for 24 hours, y'all. So, and I have not dilated from the 3 or whatever I said. So now it's getting serious, because it's just like, okay, we can't keep like reintroducing the Pitocin, knocking it up and knocking it down, because he's not having it. He doesn't want any parts of the Pitocin. So unfortunately, oh, I meant to say also, you guys, like, it literally hurt so bad that I was having cluster contractions, and I literally said I would not get an epidural unless like something went extremely wrong and I needed it. And that was my extremely wrong, like literally not getting a break in between contractions. So I did have to get the epidural, or I didn't have to, but I did get the epidural because I needed it. Like, if I was going to be dealing with these cluster contractions, they let me wait it out or whatever, then I needed something to like help with the pain. So I got the epidural or whatever, and my experience with epidural was not good whatsoever. I had to get stuck like three times for the epidural, and it hurt so bad. The placement of it hurt so bad. 10 out of 10 recommend. I will not be doing the epidural ever again unless once again, like, absolutely medically necessary. Like, even the cluster contractions, if that ever happens again, I will take that over the epidural, like, literally. So I don't know if that was just my experience with the anesthesiologist or what, but yeah, I will not. I will take whatever it is and stick to it, and that's it. So I got the epidural or whatever, and like I said, my experience with that was bad. I was so uncomfortable. They put a catheter in you, so you can't leave the bed. You're bedridden. So I actually got that late the 27th. So the day before I gave birth, I got that late that night. Had it all day on the 28th. All morning. So then finally they come in the afternoon. They're like, hey, you're not dilating, and the baby is dropping. Like, the baby's heart rate is dropping. He's in distress, so we have to do a C-section for you. Like, that's it. So I cried, of course, because that was not in my plan, but it was also in God's plan. So I had faith, of course. I was nervous at first, but then once you know that faith kicks in and stuff like that, you don't worry. So I was very nervous at first. That's why I was crying, because I'm just like, I have to get cut open. I have to do a surgery where I'm awake, and I know it's gonna like hurt or whatever. And it just was all new, and my body was in so much like just distress and pain, and the way I was in the bed was so uncomfortable, and I knew I was gonna have to lay down. They told me for another like hour flat, getting the C-section. So luckily I already had the epidural, so that was out the way, and they just were able to like give me the numbing medication and stuff through my epidural. So that was good. That was a plus. Everything works out in like God's way and stuff, and I feel like everything happened for a reason, the way it did for a reason, and in the order it did for a reason, because I already had the epidural at that point, so I was smooth sailing with that. But and not even really, because I still felt the contractions once it started to like wear off. But I had to put like a lot more in me, well, a lot more drugs in order to numb me up, because epidural was not doing it. It had definitely like wore off. So yep, they take me into the operating room or whatever, and I'm so nervous, and all of a sudden I start getting the shakes really bad. I literally could not stop shaking. And what I will say with the C-section is you can definitely feel the pressure of everything, and it literally just felt like, I don't know, like it's just such a unique feeling. I just felt like I couldn't breathe. Like they put oxygen in your nose or whatever, but I just felt like I couldn't breathe, and I felt like I was just like in just, I don't know, like it's such like a sterile environment, and it's just cold in there, and it's just ugh. So yeah, there was like another nurse or whatever that was pushing on my chest, like right here, and he's, mind you, grown man, y'all, pushing down, and I can tell how hard he's pushing because I feel it as she's like pulling the baby out or whatever. And mind y'all, when she like cut and finally got to the baby, she's like, oh, he's bigger than expected. And I'm thinking like, so y'all gonna be able to do this, or what that mean? So yeah, she's like, oh, he's bigger than expected. So then she starts yanking and tugging, and I'm just like, oh my god. Like, and I, mind y'all, I did not say a word the whole C-section except for the beginning, because he like was pinching me and stuff. Mind you, the curtain was up at this point, so he was pinching me and poking me to see if I could feel it, and I'm like, what is that? I'm like, that hurts. And he's like, oh. And like the way he was like kind of like talking to me, it kind of made it seem like, okay, like no you don't. But I'm like, you know, I'm not lying, because the curtain is up. I wouldn't have known that you were pricking me or pinching me unless I felt it. I didn't even know what he was doing at first until he started like pinching me and poking me, and it hurt. So I was like, so then that's when I started getting scared, because I'm like, oh no, if I could feel you pricking me with a little whatever he was using, because I couldn't see the curtains up, then I can feel a knife going through my layers of my skin. So y'all need to figure that out. So he starts pumping more drugs into me, and then finally I couldn't feel it, so then they start, and like I said, the tugging was the worst part, like, and just like the pressure, it feels like so much pressure. But then once the baby's out of you, it just feels like a big like like, oh my god, it's the craziest, most bizarre feeling ever. So yep, baby's finally out. I did not get to hold him in the operating room. Jalen did though. He did bring him near me, and I gave the baby a kiss or whatever. And I swear the process felt so long. Like it felt like the longest time of my life, bro. With them stitching me up and all that good stuff and all that. And I was just like, I just want to hold my baby. So they finally bring me back to recovery, and I get to do my skin to skin with my baby, and it was the best moment of my life. The pain was worth it. I would do it all over again if I had to, just to relive that moment with him. And yeah, so my baby is literally the best thing that's ever happened to me, my biggest accomplishment, and just my world, everything. And I will do anything for him ever. And I just want to be the best mom I can be. I want to give him the best life I can. And yeah, I just love him so much. And he's brought so much joy into literally everybody's life. He's brought us together, and he's just done so much in such little time. He's only 2 weeks old right now. 2 weeks and what's today? He's 2 weeks right now. And then I'm 2 weeks postpartum. As far as like my postpartum journey, I don't want this video to be too long, so I probably will film another video dedicated to my postpartum recovery, showing you guys my body, my scar, all that. If you guys are interested, I will definitely film that for you guys. But I am still healing and stuff like that. So yeah, but I had him. I was in a lot of pain, and I was just glad that I got to sit up and do skin to skin with my baby. As far as my hospital experience, I was there for 5 days, and it was rough. I did not sleep, not an ounce. Like literally the most I slept, I think probably like 2 hours the whole 5 days. And I'm not even kidding, you guys, like literally 2 hours, because dealing with a newborn baby who you're breastfeeding, I breastfeed, he was cluster feeding, he would not stop eating. And it was just really rough. Like that was really rough. And once again, it was worth it, but it was rough. And I literally was running on no sleep. I cried and cried because I wasn't even like frustrated, or it didn't have anything to do with the baby. It just was literally just emotions that I was feeling, and hormones, and just everything. Like I was so exhausted, like literally exhausted. I wasn't even sleeping before the day that I before the day I went into labor. So you got to think about it. I'm running off no sleep in general at home, and then I have to, you know, be at the hospital for 5 days, and I'm still exhausted. So yeah, but other than that, that was my experience. Some parts were traumatic for me, and yeah, some parts were traumatic, but overall it was a positive birth experience. And like I said, I would do it again tenfold just to relive that moment of seeing my baby for the first time. And I looked at him and I was like, oh my God, he's my twin. Like literally that's the first thing that I thought. And I was so like frozen in the operating room because my anxiety was just so high. My blood pressure was like 170 over something. It's crazy. I literally could only look like this, but I also turned my head and I was looking at the screen. It was like 170 something. So yeah, it's just such a surreal moment. Like I just literally was just frozen. I couldn't cry. I was crying on the inside, but I cried so much I just couldn't even cry. Like I was so happy, but also just so in shock. But yeah, so he's here, he's happy, he's healthy. His feeding is definitely getting better. He's the latcher. Like he latched on super good. He latched on the moment we did skin to skin, and I fed him for the first time ever. He's an amazing feeding baby. Like don't get me wrong about that, but it's just the cluster feeding that was a problem. And now he's not doing that so much because my milk supply is in and stuff like that. So he's getting full, and now he's on a schedule where he's sleeping for 3 hours and then feeding and, you know, spending some time looking around and stuff for like an hour or so, and then he's back to sleep. And even that's not perfect yet, and I don't expect it to be, because some days he only takes cat naps, and those are really stressful, and I'm still, you know, stressed out. I haven't been sleeping much here either. I've been sleeping more, but not enough, really, in the eyes of like being a new mother and stuff like that. Not enough, not nearly enough. But I love him so much. I love this journey. I'm very thankful, and I thank God for making me a mother. And I believe I was made to do this. I believe that this is my purpose, to be a mother. And that's just how I feel. So yeah, point blank period. But I wouldn't trade it. The no sleeping stuff, it's frustrating. I'm frustrated about not sleeping, but I'm not frustrated at him at all. I have nothing but happiness towards him. And it's just what comes with it, and I'm dealing with it. I really am. My mental health has been okay. But I think we can talk more about that in my postpartum video that I end up doing once I decide to do that. I am still healing, taking this journey slow. I'm only 2 weeks in. You know, 6 weeks is once he can start going out and stuff, and I'll feel comfortable taking him somewhere. He's not going to be around everybody, that's for sure. RSV is getting really bad, and COVID and stuff like that, so I don't have time for that. But as far as like us just getting out the house, you know, and me, I want to get my hair done, I want to get my nails and toes done. Like I just want a full like postpartum like little, like, I don't know what the word is, like just makeover. Like I just want to feel beautiful and feel like myself again, you know. So yeah, but we can talk more about all of that, and you guys will be on this journey with me, and you guys will see when I start, you know, doing all those appointments, going to those appointments, and just following along on this journey. You guys will be here every step of the way, and I will make sure that the good, the bad, the ugly. So yeah, but that's my labor and delivery story, and I'll make sure to include that footage for you guys. And yeah, I love y'all so much. Like, comment, subscribe. Oh, also, and I will be filming a like 24-hour video, 24 hours with the newborn video for you guys, and then that'll probably be it for a while until I'm like my 6 weeks is up, because I don't want to force myself to get out the bed, do my makeup and stuff like that. I haven't really been feeling like that. I just so happen to have a surge of energy right now to do so, but who knows when that's gonna happen again. So I'm gonna get that video filmed for you guys, and those will probably be the last 2 videos you guys will see until my 6 weeks is up. And then I will see you guys for my postpartum journey videos and just everyday life after that. And yeah, but yeah, I love you all so much. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.